Okay, the verdict is in. You guys want to do a monthly webinar and you want these video updates. That's fine. I'm here to do whatever you need. Remember that real estate totem pole? Realtors up here, lenders. So ask and you shall receive. The webinar is going to be the first Wednesday of every month at noon, and I'm going to include my clients on this, people who've been pre-approved. So it'll be consumer friendly. The language will be geared towards them. You're welcome to invite your clients too. I think there's going to be tons of opportunity in 2023 in the housing market, but I do think that you'll need a strategy that's evolving in real time. So these monthly webinars will be a way to follow up with our buyers, with our leads who are qualified or on the fence or close to qualifying, and follow up with them with something of value. Stay connected to them by creating value and offering insight and guidance. So they stay engaged with the process and they get something out of it at the same time, rather than just a follow-up email, call, or text that doesn't give them anything useful. So feel free to include your clients, like I said, every first Wednesday of every month at noon. It'll be recorded so they could watch it later too if they can't break away at noon. Okay, so on to the most interesting news I saw this week, which was regarding housing inventory. We know that housing starts have been on a downward spiral for quite some time, and that's going to be problematic because the demographics show the demand for housing is going to skyrocket once interest rates cool off. The demand for housing is analyzed really by looking at household formations. So this is when you have a household and the children reach an age where they're going to move out. Each new adult looking for housing is called a household formation. And we've been cruising along at about 1.7 million household formations per year for quite some time. Then, as interest rates went up, that came down, basically because Johnny couldn't afford to move out of his parents' basement anymore. So he saw household formations drop to about 1.3 million. When interest rates come back down, we're expecting that the demand will go right back to that normal 1.7 million that we've been seeing for so long. The problem is that builders have only been completing 1.5 million new homes per year, and we have to take into account that 100,000 homes each year come off the market because they're no longer livable. So they don't contribute to inventory, they actually come away. So 1.7 million household formations versus 1.4 million new homes, you can see how there's going to be a discrepancy between the demand for housing and the actual supply on houses. We could also look at this from a different angle and see the same exact problem. Single-family housing starts fell again in November and are now down 16% year over year. Permits fell 7% in November just from October. The problem goes beyond supply and demand, though. It's bad news overall for the economy because when there's not houses to buy, housing is a major factor driving the entire U.S. economy. Not just for the house sale, but then that house sale leads to the purchase of goods like appliances and furniture. And when stores don't sell those, then they have to cut back on jobs. You following where I'm going with this? Speaking of, I've been telling you to follow the jobs market very closely because it's a key indicator of how severe this recession will be. The thing that makes it tough to follow is that there are two reports, and one of them gets way more headlines than the other one. The payroll survey analyzes large and medium-sized businesses and just counts the number of jobs. This is the one that gets all the headlines and has remained really strong, showing 2.7 million jobs added this year between March and November. That sounds really good, right? Sounds like a strong, hot jobs market. But then the household survey, which asks normal people like you and I, it asks folks how many people in their household are currently employed. This shows only 12,000 jobs added in that same time span. That's a pretty big difference. One report says strong, hot jobs market. The other one says cold almost jobs market. And this is really important data to consider when you're trying to analyze how long and consider the severity of this recession. The other data we're watching is consumer debt, which I've discussed because it's shot up at an insane rate as people have charged their lifestyle rather than responding to inflation by cutting back. Savings rates have also dipped severely for the same reason. The cost of everything went up, but people didn't stop buying it. Remember, we care about all this data and what it tells us about a recession because a recession will impact interest rates, which is the biggest factor in the housing market. Hopefully you caught my interest rate predictions video last week, but if not, I'll include the link so you can check it out. I hope everyone has a safe and happy new year.